Am I live?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Carol Tudor, and hello to California, all my friends that are in the Trebers Church, and anybody else who's watching. And what's great about this is it'll be on my timeline, and you can just access it. Now, let me tell you how I'm going to do this tonight. I am basically going to give you some ideas about your children, because that's what Mrs. Treber had asked me, and so many people don't know how to figure out what's wrong with their kid, or if they're sick. Or hey, Jennifer, oh, I can't believe it, Sue Frizzell McHugh, hello, my old boss, hello, Jennifer Collins. And so I'm going to give a few tips about diagnosing. And on my first video, I gave my disclaimer, 50 years as an RN, and I am not going to diagnose anybody tonight, but I'm going to help you know how to figure out what's wrong with your kids, or when you should take them to the ER, that kind of thing. And then I'm going to give you some ideas of things you can do, like that are easy. When I refer to a book or a recipe tonight, I'm going to leave the link in my comments. So I'm not going to hold my book up or anything like that. And there is a book that really teaches about children, and it's that same book I use all the time. And when people call me that want some advice or want some help, I go to this book. I've been using this book for over 20 years. She has more current editions, and she's a nurse practitioner. And for example, there's a section on alternative healing for children, which gives you all the vitamins. So many people will call me and ask me questions. I don't know all the answers, but you know what I do? I dig. And I find the research. I'm going to have a prayer now. I want the Lord to bless us. Father, I pray you'd bless this 25 minutes. Lord, give me wisdom and block anything I shouldn't say. And I pray that you'd help the hearers of this video. I pray that it would just go out and help numbers of people. I ask you, Lord, to give us wisdom, Bible wisdom about healing our bodies. In Jesus' name, amen. And so there is a lot of things I've read and used, and I'm a very self-taught integrative nurse. I love both kinds of nursing. I love the profession of nursing, and so I'm not going to diss on nurses and doctors, but as you know, there's a lot of illnesses that that people say, hi, Kirsty Clemenson. I'm going to interrupt and be just like Mrs. Loretta Walker. You know how obnoxious she is. I'm going to say, hi, Marlena. Hi, Jody. Oh, Jody, I remember you from so many years ago. That's a blessing. That's the thing I love about Facebook. I love praying for people. I love asking for prayer, and I love connecting with all the students from 40 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to leave the links to recipes, books, etc. I might not do it till tomorrow, but in the comments, you'll find the reference material that you can start looking for. So my big inspiration that I want to give the next generation is I want you to become knowledgeable about your body and all the things that are available. Not just drugs, not just traditional Western medicine, but also wellness medicine. And so there's actually a doctor of wellness. He's really old now. He's in his 80s. But he's actually what they call a wellness doctor. And he's more promoting how to be well, not just take care of somebody when they're sick. And so it's a little bit of a different approach. And so the Bible verse I always think of when I teach on this is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Folks, we need knowledge. And now with this pandemic going on, Mrs. Treber has really encouraged me. She said, Carol, you need to go live. Hi, buddy. Hi, Karen Basham. And you need to go live, and you need to tell people what you know. And so that's what started this. I'm going to do it once a week, and I'm just blessed. I think I'm going to buy my own equipment. So Loretta came over and hooked me up, but she doesn't want to be seen tonight. And
if they saw me, they know why.
And she's here at the ranch because of meetings canceled, and so they're working on them. They've got several projects they're working on. One of which is her daughter-in-law is in the hospital trying to give birth, and there's been a complication. And so Loretta, bless her heart, has been homeschooling her grandson, who's very high energy, and doing a bunch of other stuff. And so and she's enjoying it, and it's really great. Not that I'm glad their meeting's canceled, but it's always great to have the Walkers here. And so my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We need knowledge. I pretty much, everything I've learned about myself, and I'm very excited that I'm hoping, Lord willing, I'll be 70 this year. I will have outlived my best friend, Marlene Evans, mentor, nurturer, and my father. And I have a few second, third cousins out there way far away in the hills of Pennsylvania, but I don't have any sisters or brothers. They're all passed away. My parents are gone. I have one aunt alive that I haven't seen in many years, and she's in the hills of Pennsylvania. And so I don't have any family, to speak of. And a lot of cancer and a lot of different diseases. So I began a journey when my brother got diagnosed with MS, and there wasn't a lot you could do at that time in 1980. I began a journey of studying and reading, and when you can read about anything, it's amazing. And so here you are. You've got this next generation. You have access to the whole world's library. You can go online and start researching and learning about your kids. You've got, I mentioned Dr. Oz, not because he does everything right, but you've got doctors who will teach you, hey, Leslie, Rookie, and Beeman. And so you've got a wealth of knowledge sitting in your hand. Now, I used to be the one at Hyles Anderson. I always buy all the books. Anything that was new out there that was going to teach me something. Color Me Beautiful. I wanted to learn what colors made me look the best. I would read. I would just find all kinds of things that would help me as a teacher and a counselor at school. And then in the summers, I did a lot of part-time nursing, and I did some hospice nursing. I've done some. I did holistic nursing with Dr. Cal Streeter for several summers. He taught me a lot. And so this class is basically going to be just about diagnosing your kids. And one of the first things you want to have is you want to have a good thermometer, okay? You also want to have a pulse oximeter. What this does, I put my finger in here and I push a button, and this takes my pulse and my respirations, and it actually has a little tiny EKG on it. There's some that are a little bit more sophisticated, but I use this with my patients. I use this when I diagnose my husband in his bronchitis, because the pulse rate indicates if a person's sick, their pulse rate may be elevated. So one of the things you want to do right off the bat is be scientific. Temperature, pulse, respiration. It'd be good if you had a blood pressure cuff. Now, you're not going to get that for your kids. But again, I'm watching, my husband and I are both watching our blood pressures. I don't have it yet. I'm hoping I never get it. But when you diagnose, you want to get the facts. A lot of times somebody will call me and I'll say, did you take his temperature? They don't even think to take their temperature. There's a lot of good thermometers out there now. There's forehead ones, there's ear ones. Get yourself a good thermometer. And utilize your thermometer, your pulse, your respiration, your pulse oximeter. I bought this at Aldi's. You can get them right now. I don't know. I've had people call me. Somebody's taking care of their grandfather in Texas, and she had to go to another area to get a pulse ox. She wanted one because she's nursing her grandpa on his deathbed. And so it's a very helpful piece of equipment. So you want the temperature, pulse, respiration. Then I always look at people's eyes. Example, some people have dark circles. Now, my Mayo Clinic doctor taught me that dark circles around the eye they're called allergic shiners, like a raccoon. And some of them are very dark, some of them are light. Now, in children, if your child has those, when they're sick, you might watch the circles will get real dark. So I look at my grandson. My grandson got sick, and I started looking at his eyes. How do they look? Are they red? Are they puffy? What is the white like? Is it yellowish? Is he got a broken blood vessel? When you get a fever, your eyes can get red. Then I look at mucous membranes, meaning nose, mouth. Is he dry? Is he dehydrated? A lot of times people don't know, well, is my child so dehydrated I should take him to the ER? And that's an important thing. By the way, my grandson one time was so sick, and they FaceTimed with the doctor. And he actually had my grandson open his mouth on FaceTime, and he looked at his membranes, and he said he could judge even on FaceTime. Would you believe? And so there are people that are doing remote diagnosing. That's not my favorite thing to do, and I definitely wouldn't want to do it with a child. But for example, someone called me last week, and their daughter had been exposed to whooping cough. And she wanted to know if the cough was like I said, it should be like a barking dog. Well, all I did was go online and I just Googled sound bite of whooping cough. And it came up. I sent it to this mother so she could hear it. And, like I said, you've got the world in your hand as far as research. And you know, I'm not of your generation. Most of you that are listening to me, I know there's some older people, but I had to learn computers at 60. I learned cell phone I was around 60. I got an iPhone, thank God, for something that's easy to use. And so I started using technology a little later. So I'm not great at it, but I can research like crazy. I Safari everything. I look up and I know what doctors are good. By the way, again, I'll put those links in the comments, and give me until tomorrow and I'll get that all done. So you want to look at the child. Okay, and these are things you want. Okay, is there any uncharacteristic behavior? Is this child an outgoing child? They're quiet. Loss or decrease of appetite. Ultra whiny, extra whiny. Very tired. Circles get darker. So you want to pay attention, and especially the body language is very important. I remember one day I was out in my backyard in Indiana, and I was still working at the college, and a very good friend brought their baby over to me. And she was a newborn, and I don't know how old she was. Sometimes she was under 4 months, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to ask my friend. But she didn't have a fever. She didn't look right. And when I picked her arm up, it just sort of dropped. And I said to them, and newborns are more like this. You pick up their arm, they're more erratic, jerky, and there's a startle reflex a newborn has. And so I thought this apathy, this lack of body language is not good. And I said I don't like how she looks, and we couldn't put our finger on anything. She didn't have a fever. It was mostly the apathy, lack of movement. I went by the body language, and I sent her to the ER. And the doctors there said, "You caught pneumonia early. How did you do that?" And they said, our nurse friend. So body language is extremely important. And if you're too busy and you're not paying attention, you might not pick up that a child is sick, and you might catch it if you can start watching and look for some of these signs and know right away, check their temperature. There's several organizations where people are, boarding schools where the boys are in a boarding school here. Everyone has to get their temperature taken every day. And that's the way they're checking to monitor whether, anybody's getting sick. And so, so diagnosing, get the facts. What are the problem? What are the facts? What is the solution? TPR, temperature, pulse, respiration, eyes, skin, mucous membranes. Definitely watch the body language. Okay, remember we're always talking about those 5 invaders. And by the way, next week, you're going to want to listen about children again, but it's going to be all ages. I'm going to talk about parasites, which I had no knowledge how many people in America have them. And I want to give you the symptoms so that if you think somebody in your family could have them, you can get checked. There's a way to get tested. And so the first invader is bacteria. Everybody knows about that. That's like your staphylococcus. That's your strep throat. Those are bacteria. And actually, these are living invaders, and they invade your body, and they live off of you. And that's why you want to kill them, okay? And so then you've got viruses. And viruses are like a bacteria, but they're a different type. They're a different form. They're a different cell form, and they also, by the way, they replicate very fast. There's nothing worse than having the 24-hour flu, and I mean full-fledged. When you get hit with it, you get hit fast, and you are sick as a dog, and you think you're never gonna live, And the next day, you start popping up, and you're then by 2 days or 3 days later, 24-hour stomach flu is gone. And so that's a virus. Okay, then there's number 3, which is parasites, which is like roundworm, hookworm, tapeworms, and etc. Amoebas. Those are very important to learn about. Do you know you can get an amoeba from well water in your eye? I had that. Had no idea that you could do that. And then your 4th one is fungus, which is like a candida. And a fungus is becoming extremely common. Fungus is a living parasite, and it eats your food, and it takes away from what you're trying to get, and can actually eat your minerals. Then your 5th one is mold. And of course, we all know kids get roundworm a lot. They treat kids for it, but they don't always treat adults. So I'm going to do that next week. And today I'm just going to talk about a couple of different solutions that you can do. One thing is steamy showers are very important. If anybody's got anything upper respiratory, hot shower and breathe in that steam is really important. And I'm talking about even children, you know, a kid. Of course, a toddler, you're going to do a bath. But a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, you get them in the shower and get them nice and warmed up. There's a foot soak you can do, and again, body language is very important. There's a foot soak. You actually go to the produce section, buy fresh thyme, Thyme. You put it in a big pot of water and boil it. When it comes to a boil, you let it boil for like 5 minutes. Okay, then you take a basin and you dilute that extra hot thyme water with warm water, and you soak the feet of your child 30 minutes. It's amazing what it does. It breaks up congestion in the lungs. Some of you who've done oils, I'm not going to go into all the different oils, but you great essential oils. And what do? We put them on the feet. Why? When you put things on the bottom of the feet, it's absorbed very rapidly into the bloodstream. Back of the neck, like at the bottom of the hairline, and then on the feet. So this fresh thyme foot bath is like fantastic, and you want to do it about 25 minutes. And okay, when it starts to get warm, add some more of the hot water. And of course, you're not going to make it too hot to where you burn the kid. Okay, we know that goes without saying. So foot soaks are really important as far as something that can make you well. I had a friend come over yesterday. She wanted me to look at her foot. She had a callus that has developed a sore underneath it. She's on her feet 10 hours a day. And I said, go home after work and do a 40-minute Epsom salt soak, and keep the water warm. Don't let it get cold and leave your feet in there. And so, hi, Patty Hutchinson. And all you guys are connecting with each other. Kirsty and Patsy are seeing each other. And so anyway, the Epsom salts baths is magnesium. That's part of what's in there. Muscle relaxer. She texted me later. She goes, Carol, my feet feel so much better. And so the foot soaks are really helpful. If a child is sick, you want to get a lot of fluids into them. Unless they're vomiting, then you don't want to. You just want to watch and wait. In fact, if they're vomiting, if they vomit longer than one night, like the 24-hour flu, you have to have them evaluated for dehydration. Both of my grands went to the ER just to get one bag of fluid because they were dehydrated from 24-hour flu. So, that may be a necessary thing to do. Can't diagnose that. It's a little bit different. Oh, I can show you this. This is called skin turgor, Turgor. You pinch the skin, and my skin is hydrated, so it goes right down. But in anybody normal on the hands or the arm, skin turgor, you just pinch it, and if it stays as a tent, if it stays tented, they're dehydrated. So you can test the skin for dehydration. Look at the mucous membrane, see if they're dehydrated. If it's an upper respiratory type illness, you're going to want to give a lot of warm fluids. Hot water, lemon, and honey, I swear by. And by the way, you want to get honey from your area, the real honey, not processed honey, straight from the comb. Go to the health food store. Costco carries very good quality of honey. And the other thing is fresh ginger. If you can buy a piece of ginger root, you can just slice it, put it in some water, boil it. And then you take a little bit of that ginger water and some hot water, lemon and honey. It makes a great hot drink. Open up the passages in the lungs. There's a recipe I'm going to leave, Singing Canary. It's an awesome, it's actually for stress and when your body's under stress and you're not well. It's basically just made out of lemon. It's just all healthy stuff. But it's called a Singing Canary. It's from Trim Healthy Mama. The vitamin C is really crucial. I'm going to leave you a chart. Somebody texted me today. I'm going to leave you a chart with the ages. It's going to be in my comments. It starts with kids going all the way up to adults. You want to do liposomal, and why you want liposomal is the form of vitamin C that your body will utilize fast. And it will suck in it will break it down much more than a capsule. Again, if you can use powder and liquids, especially in children, and capsules. Stay away from hard pills. Some of these vitamins that are just a hard a hard pill, your body does not break it down at all. I know many times I bought things and I took them and it did nothing. And I'm like, why did it not do anything? partially we can have some absorption problems. Partially it's the form it's in. In children, if you got the liposomal vitamin C powder, you can put it in a smoothie. Got a smoothie recipe? I'm going to stick it in. By the way, okra, frozen okra, is really good to put in a smoothie for the children. You want to get the greens into the kids. The smoothies I make up have blueberries, vitamin C, avocado, greens. Frozen okra is extremely good because it's good for the gut. It's good for the okra is a good thing. I actually have a brownie recipe it's called Cry No More Brownies. It's delicious, and you food process the frozen okra. Delicious. You never know it had any green in it. Okay, so blueberries, vitamin C powder, avocado, greens, okra, stevia, banana, and use some kind of almond milk. Don't use any dairy. By the way, when you just got to get off sugar because sugar suppresses the immune system. Don't believe me? Read it yourself. Just Google or search. I don't use Google. I use Safari on my iPhone. Whatever search engine you use, look up the dangers of sugar, and they'll give you a long list. Especially when a child is sick, keep off the dairy, keep off the sugar, because those cause a lot of congestion, mucus. Okay, elderberry is one of the new things that the new generation is doing, and you got to give these girls credit. A lot of the millennials, and I hate to use them as a group, but that's what we call them. But I have my adopted daughter is 39, and she gets her own elderberries, and I believe she orders them off Amazon, and she makes her own elderberry syrup. I'm going to include the recipe. You don't have to make it. I'm the type of person, I don't always, but you can buy it. It's a little pricey, but elderberry is what most of the ladies I know in the 30s and 40s who have young kids, in the fall, they start giving them elderberry syrup to build up their immune system right away. And elderberry is something you want to give more before they get sick. It's not something necessarily but it is extremely good at strengthening the immune system. And Tina Murhowski is one who she's really good at that, does that. And I believe if you're up in Indiana, she'd make it, and I think you could pay her to make it for you. She's doing a lot of healthy meals and doing a lot of things from her home for people, and so that would be something that you could invest in. Try and keep your kids, 50% of their diet, it should be fruit. I'm talking about kids under, like up until teenage years. They need a lot of fruit. All their snacks need to be fruit. A lunch for my grandkids, here's what they'll eat. They'll eat baby carrots, a cucumber, sliced cucumber, mini sweet peppers, and they will dip that either in hummus or guacamole. And, raw veggies and guacamole and hummus is a lunch. Not just burger and french fries or SpaghettiOs or hot dogs. And so, processed food does not feed our cells. So as you're getting your kids built up, you want to give them, bananas have potassium, bananas have vitamin C. All your right now clementines are out. All your citrus has got loaded with vitamin C. Lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. As I see people eating, maybe they eat maybe 1 or 2 vegetables a day. Now I can't eat a lot of fruit because I'm really watching the sugars, even natural sugars. So you want a lot of it. Basically, they say 5 to 7 cups of vegetables a day. Now, if you can do a salad about good sized salad, that's 2-3 cups of greens right there. But tonight I had baked chicken breast. I had a nice sized pile of French lentils, which are green lentils and they're protein. I had a fresh raw salad with cut up red onion, cucumbers, parsley, tomatoes. And so as much as possible, you're getting in, if you can have 3-4 vegetables at supper, and start helping your kids like those vegetables. Patch the Pirate, I love broccoli. I mean, that's why he made those songs, so kids would eat it. I haven't touched everything here, of course. I did as much as I could do, and it's already been 25 minutes. And I will leave my links in the comment section. 3 things. If you want me to help you, messenger me. You can message me. I can't always help, and I may not answer you fast. And then if you have some questions, I don't care if you put them on the bottom of this video. Next week I'm going to do the 5 invaders. I'm going to do the symptoms of parasites and what you can do about it. There are things you can do. And believe it or not, we found it when we got here. My husband got sick, and he had a tapeworm. And we've joked about it all because he could eat like a dog. He could eat like a horse. That's the word I want. He could eat like a horse. And we joked about it. Well, it turned out he really had one. And we think, we don't know how long he's had it. You can have him for years. If you've been out of the country, you're at very high risk. Richard was in Vietnam / Japan and Korea. I've been in Israel. So we know that anybody who's been out of the country is at high risk, and you don't realize they're very subtle. You don't realize what the symptoms can be, and they're not easily tested for. So I want you to give your kid. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me about antibiotic for kids. Grapefruit seed extract is a natural antibiotic, and it's strong, and you can get it, and it's liquid, and you can just do a few drops. I did not talk about vitamin C. Let's see, I had something else I wanted to ask you. I did not talk about vitamin C, but I'm going to give you a chart on that. Stinging nettle is what I wanted to tell you. When people have sinuses, allergies, nasal drippage, we use stinging nettle, 500 milligrams. It's a root, and it's made capsule form, and we get it at Swanson's, and it's very inexpensive. And we take that in place of any sinus medicine. By the way, sinus medicine really plays with the kidneys and the blood pressure. And so, and for children, there's liquid stinging nettle, and you just take a couple of drops for the children. And so stinging nettle, dry them up, hot showers, hot lemon, and I think that's the end of this video. And thank you so much for listening. Keep me in touch. Send me a question if you want, and if you have a subject you want me to discuss, let me have it. And thank you so much, and stay healthy and eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Love you guys.